Vasudevaya Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Sarasatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudirayat Nashtapresha Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtiki Krishna Swadamo Bhagate Dhamma Didi Saha Kalo Nashtadishamesha Puranako Dunodita Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam Ki Jai Jaya Kale Tu Sattasya Devashin Rajaso Suran Tamaso Yaksha Rakshamsi Tatkalanu Gano Bhavat Bhajat Jaya Kale, in the time of prominence, too, indeed, Sattasya, of goodness, Deva, the demigods, Rishin, and the sages, Rajasa, of passion, Asuran, the demons, Tamasaha, of ignorance, Yaksha, Rakshamshi, the Yakshas and Rakshasas, Tatkala Anuguna, according to the particular time, Abhajat, fostered. Translation: when the quality of goodness is prominent, the sages and demigods flourish with the help of that quality, with which they are infused, and surcharged by the Supreme Lord. Similarly, when the mode of passion is prominent, the demons flourish, and when ignorance is prominent, the yakshas and rakshasas flourish. The Supreme Personality of Godhead is present in everyone's heart, fostering the reactions of Sattva Gun, Rajogun, and Tamagun. Purport by His Divine Grace, Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. The Supreme Personality of Godhead is not partial to anyone. The conditioned soul is under the influence of the various modes of material nature. And behind material nature is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. But one's victory and loss under the influence of Sattva Gun, Rajogun, and Tamogun are reactions of these modes, not the Supreme Lord's partiality. Srila Jiva Goswami in the Bhagavad Sandarbha has clearly said, Sattadayu nasanti she yatta cha prakrita guna ha sashrudha sarvasid yebhya puman adya prasidatu pladini sandini samvid chayeka sarva sanstito plada tapa kari mishra tvayino gunavarjite. According to this statement of the Bhagavad Sandarbha, the Supreme Lord, being always transcendental to the material qualities, is never affected by the influence of these qualities. This same characteristic is also present in the living being, but because he is conditioned by material nature, even the pleasure potency of the Lord is manifest in the conditioned soul as troublesome. In the material world, the pleasure enjoyed by the conditioned soul is followed by many painful conditions. For instance, we have seen that in the two great wars, which were conducted by the Rajogun and Tamogun, both parties were actually ruined. The German people declared war against the English to ruin them, but the result was that both parties were ruined. Although the Allies were apparently victorious, at least on paper, actually, neither of them were victorious. Therefore, it should be concluded that the Supreme Personality of Godhead is not partial to anyone. Everyone works under the influence of various modes of material nature. And when the various modes are prominent, the demigods or demons appear victorious under the influence of these modes. Everyone enjoys the fruits of his qualitative activities. This is confirmed in Bhagavad Gita, chapter 14, text 11 through 13. Sarvadureshu dehismin prakasha upajayate jnanam yada tadha vidyad vibritam sattamutyuta loba pravritir aramba karmanam asamapspriha rajasyetani jayante vivride bharatarshava aprakasha pravritischa pramadu moha evacha tamasasyetani jayante vivride kurunandana. Quote, the manifestations of the modes of goodness can be experienced when all the gates of the body are illumined by knowledge. O chief of the Bharatas, when there is an increase in the mode of passion, the symptoms of great attachment, uncontrollable desire, hankering, and intense endeavor develop. When there is an increase in the mode of ignorance, O son of Kuru, madness, illusion, inertia, and darkness are manifested. End quote. The Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is present in everyone's heart, simply gives the results of the increase in the various qualities, but he is impartial. He supervises victory and loss, but he does not take a part in them. The various modes of material nature, the various modes of material nature do not work all at once. The interactions of these modes are exactly like seasonal changes. Sometimes there is an increment of Rajagun, sometimes of Tamagun, and sometimes Sattvagun. Generally, the demigods are surcharged with Sattvagun, and therefore when the demons and the demigods fight, the demigods are victorious because of the prominence of their Sattvagun qualities. However, this is not the partiality of the Supreme Lord. Om Jnana Timirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshur Unmilitan Jena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah Namashishtam Manumapi Sachiputram Atra Sarupam Rupam Tasya Gujamurapurim Matarim Goshtavatim Radha Kundam Girivaram Aho Radhika Madhavasam Prapto Yasya Pratita Kripaya Shri Gurum Tam Natusmi Ajanulambita Bhajo Kanaka Vadato Sankirtanai Kapitaro Kamalaya Taksho Vishwambaro Dvijavaro Jugadharma Palo Vande Jagat Priya Kuru Karuna Vataro Nilachala Nivasaya Nityaya Paramatmane Balabhadra Subhadrabhyam Jagannataya Te Namaha Krishnaya Vasudevaya Devaki Nandanaya Cha Nanda Gopa Kumaraya Govindaya Namo Namaha Taptakanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Haripriye Munendra Vandavandite Triloka Shokaharini Prasanda Bhakta Pankaje Nikunja Bhuvilasini Brajendra Bhanu Nandini Brajendra Sunu Sangate Kada Karishyasi Hamam Kripa Katakshabhajanam Vrindaye Tulsi Debe Priyaye Keshavasya Krishna Bhakti Bhadi Devi Satyavachai Namo Namah Vansha Kopatu Bhishcha Kripa Sindhu Bevacha Patitanam Pavinebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah. The first point Srila Prabhupada makes in the purport is that the Supreme Personality of Godhead is not partial to anyone. This is an extraordinary thing that we should understand very carefully. Because Lord says in Bhagavad Gita, Samoham sarva bhuteshu name dveshu sinapriya eva jantitamam bhaktya mayite teshu chapaham. That I'm equal to everyone, but he can't be equal to his devotees. And Srila Prabhupada explains in the purport to this verse in Bhagavad Gita that this is natural. For example, if a man or woman has many sons and daughters, that son or daughter that is particularly inclined to be obedient, to accept the instructions of the parent, to be diligent in his work and his homework and his personal character, if he's a good kid, he gets more mercy from the parent. But if a kid is rebellious, he's delinquent, doesn't go to school, he's stealing, using drugs, drinking, carrying on, and is a thorn in the side of the parents, who gets more mercy? Krishna is a person, and he deals with the devotees according to their relationship with him. He says in Gita, Yaya tamam prabhajante tam stataiva bhajamyaham mama vartmanu vartante manusya partha sarvasha. That as a person surrenders to me, as he comes to me, as he relates to me, as he establishes a relationship with me, I reward him accordingly. This is completely natural. God isn't a dead stone, a zero, a nothing, a void, impersonal. He has his impersonal aspect, certainly. But ultimately, he's a person. And the objective of Krishna Bhakti is to establish a personal relationship with him. And one who does so, for one who does so, Krishna can't be equal. He's all, and historically, he always favors the demigods. He always favored the Pandavas. The whole Mahabharata, story after story, tells us about how much Krishna favored the Pandavas and how much the Pandavas loved Krishna. How can he be less than that? Because God is a person. He loves his devotees. He says, Sadhavo hridayo mayam sadhunam hridayam taham Mananyaten ajanate naham tebhyo managapi. He says the sadhus are in my heart, and I am in the heart of the devotees, the sadhus. They don't know anything but me, and I don't know anything but them. So how can Krishna remain impartial? When they're fighting on the battlefield, when Arjuna declared that today I will kill, no, not Bhishma. Bhishma also, he made a vow to kill Bhishma. And Bhishma made a vow to kill Arjuna because of his love for the Pandavas. Duryodhana was criticizing him that you're not fighting to your full capacity. You love these Pandavas too much, and you're holding back. So he took a vow. Today, I will kill Arjuna, or Krishna must break his vow. Krishna promised that you can choose me, Arjuna, or you can choose my armies. But if you choose me, I'll not fight. I make a vow, I'll not fight. And for Kshatriya, because Krishna is playing the role of Kshatriya in the battlefield, for a Kshatriya, it's inconceivable to break one's vow. So Bhishma took this vow. Today I'll kill Arjuna, or Krishna will have to break his vow. So he attacked Arjuna with such ferocity that that Krishna had to take up a wheel to protect Arjuna, because he's more powerful than Arjuna. So to protect his devotees, he says, Konteya pratijani name bhakta pranashite, not anyone. Name bhakta pranashite, my devotee, declare it boldly, my devotee never perishes. So when Bhishma came rushing at Arjuna to kill him, Krishna picked up a wheel of a chariot, and became famous as Ratangapane. Govinda, Govinda, Namo Namaste, Govinda, Govinda, Ratangapane. We worship the Lord in this feature of protecting, breaking his vow. Never mind my vow. My devotee is in danger. Let me protect my devotee out of love for devotee. So he can never be impartial to his devotee, always favoring devotee. When Jarasandha, Arjuna made a vow, today I will kill Jarasandha. And if I don't kill him before the sun sets, then I will immolate I'll throw my body on the fire, I'll commit suicide, I'll take my own life. So they're fighting, there's no victory. And the sun was setting, a few minutes are left, and Arjuna is not having victory. So Krishna simply stopped the sun to give Arjuna the chance for victory. Because what is the sun? It's an insignificant planet from Krishna's point of view. Yakshtaksharesha savitas sakala grahanam. Raja samasta suramurtira shesha tejas yas yagyaya brahmati sambritakala chakro govindam adi purusham tamaham bhajami. The sun is yas yagyaya brahmati sambritakala chakro. It's revolving in its path around the earth by the Lord's will, yas yagyaya. And if the Lord wants to stop it, it will stop. So to protect his devotees, konteya name bhakta pranashati, to protect his devotees, he stopped. Many stories like this in Mahabharata, how much Krishna loves his devotees. And karma for such a devotee is different. Brahma Samhita also says, yastrinda gopamataranda maho swakarma, bandhavnu rupa phalabhajanamata noti, karmani nirdahati, kintu cha bhakti bhajam, govindam adi purusham tambaham. The one who takes to bhakti, nirdati kintucha bhakti, nirdati karma. Karma is washed away. Now, does that mean that a devotee never contracts some deadly disease, never experiences loss, financial loss, anxiety, stress, depression, financial loss, some unhappy relationship? This is the material world. It doesn't stop being the material world. And we have our prarabdha karma. For example, if someone is born with a crippled limb, say one hand is all shriveled up, polio or some karmic reaction comes to that person, can he go to the temple and do a Satyanarayan Katha, do a havan, sponsor a big feast, worship the deity, pray, please Krishna, give me my arm back? Can Krishna give the arm back? Of course. Is Krishna limited? Is there anything he can't do? If he wants, he can lift a mountain. If he wants, he creates a universe through his energy, through his agency. Is there anything he can't do? He can restore the limb, but will he do it? No, we have our prarabdha karma. We have that karma that we're in it, we're living it. We have a certain number of breaths, we have a certain prosperity, we have a certain loss, we have a certain position in society, we have a certain standard of material happiness, family happiness, bodily happiness, health and wealth and prosperity, peace of mind, all destined. So a devotee accepts that. But that by taking up bhakti, all those things are destroyed to nil just by chanting the holy name. Agyanad atabhagyanad uttama shloka nama yat sankirti damagam pumso dahedato yatanala. This is described in the 6th canto of Bhagvatam, the story of Ajamil. And this verse means that by chanting the holy name, it destroys all of our past karma. Just as a fire moves through a field of dry grass and reduces it to ashes. Even one chants inattentively. This verse is also there in the same discussion about the glories of the holy name. Sanketyam parihasyam va stobam helanam evava vaikuntha nama grahanam asheshaga param vidu. That even if one chants unknowingly, like a Jamil, and great fear, seeing the Yamadutas, their horrible features, their scary features, big teeth and hair and gnarled faces, wrinkled faces, big hairy body, and their ropes. He became extremely afraid, and he called in fear out for his son, Narayan. So he didn't mean Narayan, Chaturbhuj Narayan, the worshipable deity of his youth, although Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur comments that when he chanted for his son, the vibration Narayan brought to mind his worshipable Lord Narayan from his youth. So vibrating the name Narayan, the Vishnudutas came. So this is called Sanketyam. He's calling for his son, but he chanted the holy name. The holy name has touched his tongue. And it liberated him from all the Vishnudutas, and he has become sinless. And the Yamadutas, what? What do you mean? How is he sinless? This is a sinful man. He did this and they did this. He's a sinful man. We have to take him. Vishnudutas say no. He is sinless because he has vibrated the name. This is called Sanketyam. Parihasyam means to chant the Lord's name in jest. For example, in our youth, we used to do Harinam on the streets of major cities all over the United States in the early days of ISKCON. And no one had ever seen the devotees before. They see these young men in bright orange robes with shaven head and tilak and shika. Like, who are these people? I mean, what planet are you from? Where's your spaceship? They couldn't understand what is going on. And we pass out a little mantra card and have the Hare Krishna mantra. And say, chant and be happy. Hare Krishna. So they'd read it, H-A-R-E, hair, like a rabbit. So they'd laugh and they'd joke, yeah, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Then they look at our shaven head and they say, oh, yeah, hairless Krishna, ha 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 ha, hairless Krishna. They think it's a big joke. But their tongue has touched the holy name Krishna. Asheshaga Param Vidu. All learned persons say, in any way one touches the holy name, it destroys all types of sins. This is called Parihasyam. Stobam means for musical entertainment, like George Harrison. He made this song, My Sweet Lord, I really want to be with you, I really want to see you, but it's so hard. Hare Krishna, Hare Rama. Singing the holy name for musical entertainment. He's a musician, it's his business, it's what he does to make money. But he's promoting, and millions of people were singing this song, Hare Krishna. Millions of people were liberated by singing the song that he promoted. He was sent by Krishna, actually. They asked George one day, says George, because he was very dear to Prabhupada, actually. He did lots of service, gave this whole manor, Bhaktivedanta manor outside of London. He did so much service. So they asked him, George, when will you get initiated? And George replied, actually, I am initiated and I have a spiritual name also. You have a spiritual name, George? What's your name? What's your spiritual name? My name is George, Hari's son, George Hari's son. So this is musical entertainment. By musical entertainment, chanting the holy name, it destroys Asheshaga Arambidu. This is called Stobam. Helanam means inattentive chanting. We're also guilty of this. Even if one chants inattentively the holy name of Krishna, one is liberated. All the sins of one's past life are burned to ashes. So a devotee, a chanter of the holy name, if someone gets so much benefit by just inattentively chanting for fun, out of joke, meaning something else, he gets so much benefit. How much benefit does a devotee get by chanting Krishna's name with attention and love? Krishna can never forget such a person. Krishna can never be impartial to his devotee. Even though he's saying, Samoham Sarvabhuteshu, I'm equal to everyone. Sarvabhuteshu means all living beings. But Ye Bhajanti means those who worship me. And what is worship in this age? Jagya Sankirtana Prayar Yajanti Hi Sumedasa. We worship the Lord in this age. Yajanti means to worship. How? Jagya Sankirtana Prayar. By chanting the holy name, especially in the association of devotees. So he says, Maite. Maite means unto me, someone who has become dear to me. Krishna can never forget. So we shouldn't take advantage of this and think, oh, I've become very dear to Krishna. I can do anything I want. I can do any sinful life. Just Hare Krishna, it's done. Now this is Papa Buddhi, sinful mentality. We should be very careful because this is the material world and Maya is always behind us as a shadow. Prabhupada gave a nice explanation about how if a person turns his face to the sun, then he'll never see the shadow. The shadow is always behind him. But if he turns his back to the sun, if he becomes Bahirmukh, turning his face against Krishna, then he faces the shadow and he's immediately in the clutches of the material energy Maya. We have to choose. Do we want Krishna or do we want Maya? So every day when we do our job and we pray to the Lord, it's an affirmation. I want you. Oh Lord, oh energy of the Lord, please engage me in your own devotional service, in your own loving devotional service. But Krishna is equal. He's also blessing the atheist. He also has his food, isn't it? He has a place to live. He has his family life, his bank account. He denies God. He's killing cows. He's doing everything. There's no God or I am God. The Mayavad is simply another form of atheism. There's no Krishna, I am Krishna. If everyone's Krishna, there's no Krishna. If everyone says, I am the prime minister, I am the president, what is the meaning to prime minister or president? So the Mayavad is simply another variety of atheism. But Krishna is so kind, he's so generous, so merciful. He's providing for everyone. Eko bahunam jobe dadati kaman. He's supplying the necessities of everyone. Like rain. The rain falls from the sky, it may fall on the ocean. Does the ocean need water? It falls on the stones. Can the stones benefit from the water? And it falls on the earth and nourishes the plants. So devotees are like those green plants who live for the rainfall, who live for the mercy falling from Goloka. Golokera premadana harinama sankirtana. Ratina janmiloke netai. That this Goloka Prem has come to this world, this Harinam Sankirtan. This is a shower of mercy. And devotees, we drink this nectar. Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur called it, drink the tasty wine, the intoxicating wine of the holy name of Hari, the holy name of Krishna. So it's falling into our lives. But who's taking advantage? The non-devotees hear it and they become disturbed. Other people, it has irrelevant to them. This is like the rain falling on the stone or falling on the ocean. There's no benefit. But the devotees were like the chakora birds who only take the rain as it falls from the cloud. We want this Harinam, Amrit, coming directly from Goloka. Because this process will endear us to Krishna. This is the means of satisfying Krishna and for awakening. Nitya Siddha Krishna Prema Sadhya Kavunoi Shravanadi Shuddha Chitte Koreya Udvai. This is the process of awakening our love of God, of clearing our chitta, our consciousness. Shravanadi, Shuddha Chitte, by hearing, by drinking the holy name of the Lord through our ears, attentively, lovingly hearing Krishna's name affects our consciousness. And where does consciousness live? In our head? No. Consciousness lives in our heart. Because we live in our heart, not in our head. People sometimes criticize, oh, you just live in your head. You're always thinking about this and ruminating about this and anxiety about this. Or no, consciousness isn't in our mind. Our consciousness is in our heart. Therefore, by Krishna Bhakti, we feel joyful at heart because the soul is dancing in ecstasy. The soul is communing with the super soul within his own heart. Krishna says, I'm there. Ishvara sarvabhutanam, hridayashaya janatishtiti, brahmayan sarvabhutanam, yanta rudhani maya. He said, this body is yantra. It's a vehicle. It's a car. But our disease is we identify with the car. If someone says to you, hey, what's your name? Well, my name is Toyota. My name is Honda. My name is Nissan. My name is Ford. They say, no, your name is crazy. If someone says, I am a car, we understand that to be mad. But don't we do the same thing? I'm an American. I'm male, female, tall, short, skinny, fat, Indian, Chinese, African, young, old, black, white, yellow, brown. This is the car. This is the vehicle, the yantra. We are the soul, the atma. Have nothing to do with the vehicle, yet we identify with it. And this is the greatest form of Maya. This is the root cause of our illusion. Because we think I'm this body. And we live our life. Because of that, we live our life for nothing. What is the meaning? Kamala dala jala jivana talamala bhajahu haripada nitire. Everything that we hope for, that we strive for, that we work our life for. Edana jovana putra parijana, our youth, our wealth, our family, our reputation, our bank balance, our home. Everything we work hard for is ripped away from us at the time of death. What did it mean? What did it mean? It's all meaningless unless it's engaged, connected with Krishna, engaged in Krishna's service, having relationship with Krishna. Otherwise, it's simply meaningless. And our life is what? Kamala dala jala. Our life is fleeting, like a drop of water on the lotus pad. Lotus pad has specific characteristic that if you put water on it, it doesn't get wet. It beads up. So the beaded water on the lotus pad is very unstable. When the slightest wind comes and blows that water back into the pond and gone. So our life, as Prabhupada said, and a very good example. This is our life. Kamala dala jala, jivana talamala. Our jivana, our life is like that little bead of water. It can be pushed back into the pond at any time. We don't know. When will the day come when the last breath comes? We don't know. And what is the meaning to our life if we don't become Krishna conscious? What is the meaning? It's all useless. Has no meaning. Then we start all over again. And in what form? We don't know what form also. Were you born as a human being? Born as an animal, a demigod, a worm, a pig? Where will we be born? We don't know. So there's such a great need for education, to educate people. What is the nature of God? That He loves us. He says in Bhagavad Gita, Manmana bhavavad bhakto madhyaji mam namaskuru mami vashasi satyam te patijani priyosi me. He said, you're priya. You're very dear to me. Therefore, I'm giving you the simple request. Manmana, you think of me. Acquaint yourself with me. Understand me, that you're dear to me. I'm dear to you. There's an intimate relationship. In that same purport, Prabhupada describes, like the relationship between a beautiful diamond and a gold setting. The gold setting is glorified, and the diamond is glorified in cooperation with one another. So Krishna is glorified, the living being is glorified in this beautiful process of bhakti, learning to love Krishna. This is our objective, our prayojana. We don't want anything else. We don't want just to know Krishna or to worship him. Ding, 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 or cook for him. This is an offering of love. He doesn't need our worship. Lakshmi sahasra satasam brahmasebhyamanam govindamari purusham tambaham. He doesn't need our worship. He doesn't need our patram pushpam phalam tvayam. He doesn't need our deepam dupam naivedyam. He doesn't need that. He wants our love. Ye bhajanti tumam bhaktya mayite teshu chapya. When we worship him with love, when we have feeling for him, patram pushpam phalam yome bhaktya parachati. He responds to that, to our feeling for him. This is the only thing that Krishna doesn't have that he can't demand from us. He can't demand love. He wants our love, but we have to decide to give it to him. And this is the process of bhakti, awakening that feeling for Krishna. So when we have that feeling, Krishna can never forget such a devotee that has loving feeling, that has served him. Even a person who's chanted his holy name once becomes glorified in this world. Just chanting the holy name once. Because even one name of Krishna can destroy more sins than a person is able to commit. But this isn't why we chant Krishna's name, to become free from sin. What is the fruit of Krishna Nam? The fruit of Krishna Nam is Krishna Prem. We want love of God. This is why we chant, to awaken our loving feeling for God. Nayanam galada shudaraya vadanam gadgadarudaya gira pulakayani chitam bapukada tavanama grahane bhavishyati. When will we pray? When will that day come? Bhavishyati. It will come, but when will it come? When the tears come from our eyes, the hairs of our bodies stand on end, our voice chokes up in ecstasy at the recitation of your name. That the name of Krishna has that power. That the name of Krishna has that power to give us love of God. So we have to take it. And this is the perfection of life, to become dear to Krishna. And when we're dear to Krishna, he can't be equal to us. He can't be impartial. He will always favor us in every step of the way, even in the smallest way. I'll tell you a story. When my wife and I were driving across the country from Colorado, moving to North Carolina, we rented a big truck, and I rented a trailer that I put my car on. So a big truck, car was on the back, and I had a canoe. I had on a whim, I bought this big canoe. I thought I ended up hardly using it, actually. I ended up selling it. But it was on back of the car, and I strapped it on, and due to the inefficient way I strapped it, the canoe was falling off, and the pads were lost on the highway, and was barely holding on with one strap. And I'm pulling off at the side of the road because everyone's honking at me, pointing at the back, hey, 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 hey. So I look back there, and there's this canoe ready to fall in the middle of the highway and cause some huge accident. So I pull off, and I'm standing there wondering what to do. I don't have any rope. I guess I'll just have to leave this canoe at the side of the road. So this guy pulls over out of the blue. He hands me these two heavy-duty nylon straps to strap the canoe down. How is that happen? What are the chances of someone stopping, number one? And what are the chances of someone stopping and having exactly what I needed? This is Christian. I thought, thank you, Lord. Even for the smallest thing, for a stupid canoe, for the smallest thing, Krishna is always there, helping his devotees, watching over us at every moment. This is the power of bhakti. We become dear to the Lord. He's always helping us, guiding us from within. Yantra Rudhani Maya. He's directing the wanderings of the soul, who's situated as on a body made of material energy. Krishna is so kind. So we should endeavor for that mercy. We should give full energy to try and establish a loving relationship with Krishna. It's not enough just to blindly follow the rules and regulations. This is niyamagraha. Niyamagraha. To neglect the rules and regulations we'll call fall down. So who needs all rules? This is for neophytes. I can do anything. I'm a raga bhakta. That's not what raga bhakti means at all. Raga bhakti means strict following to the rules, but you don't have to follow. You follow spontaneously because you love God. But if we neglect the rules, we fall down. And if we follow rules just because they're rules, we're supposed to follow them, and we don't know why, this is also fall down. Niyamagraha. So we've hiccuped this process of bhakti with this objective. I want to love Krishna, Radha Krishna. Radha Krishna Pranamor Jugala Kishore Jivane Marane Gati Aranahi more. That we should feel like that. Aranahi more. There's nothing more in my life that I want. I have responsibilities in this world, to family, to relationship, to social responsibilities, to my own body. We have many responsibilities having taken birth in this material world. But Aranahi more. There's nothing more in my life or in death, than Radha Krishna. And we should feel like that. So this is the first point. Krishna is very, very kind to his devotees because the devotees love Krishna. And we want to make this relationship more and more. As Krishna gives us kindness, our love increases. As our love increases, Krishna acknowledges us more. As he acknowledges us more, this relationship builds more and more and more and more until the day comes. We leave this body, Hare Krishna, and we go back to Godhead. Finish material life. Yad gatvanani vartante tadama paramam mama. Krishna says, I have an abode. Natad bhasyate swayo na shishankura pavaka. Yad gatvanani vartante tadama paramam mama. That abode of mine is not illuminated by sun, moon, or electricity, and someone who goes there never comes back again to this material world. This is our objective. This is why we practice bhakti. And how do we get that? It's not mechanical. You have to love God. You have to love Krishna. You have to care about him. You have to follow the best you can. We have to endeavor. And endeavor and grace go hand in hand. It's not by endeavor alone. That I get up every morning, I follow the rules, I chant my japa, I offer my food, I read the books, I'm a good devotee. Okay, great. We should do that. We must do that. But it's not enough. We require mercy. We have to beg mercy to be admitted into the kingdom of God. And mercy alone isn't enough. If someone thinks, I'll go back to Godhead whenever Krishna decides to take me, and in the meantime, I'll just do whatever I want. I'll chant. I don't need to chant. That's for neophytes. They don't need to follow rules. That's for neophytes. I'm a Raga Bhakta. I just Jai Radhe Radhe, Jai Shri Krishna, Jai Radhe. No, you have to follow. It's not just mercy, and it's not just our endeavor. There has to be a relationship, a synchronous relationship between our hard work, our struggle to be a good devotee, and beg mercy, because we don't go back to Godhead without mercy. And how do we attract mercy? By being the best devotee we can be. By admitting, I'm fallen soul, and being I'm tossed, as we're reading here, by the modes of material nature. They're tossing me around in the ocean of material existence, sometimes sad, sometimes happy, sometimes greedy, sometimes satisfied, sometimes lusty, sometimes peaceful, sometimes elated, sometimes depressed. This up and down, backwards and forward, being tossed in the ocean of the modes of material nature. It has to stop. How? Jiv Krishna Das E Vishwas Korle Toro Dukhonai. Bhaktivinoda Thakur says, when we admit, I'm simply a servant of Krishna. Krishna, please pick me up. Deliver me. Mam chayo bibicharina bhakti yogena sevate sagunan samutitaitan brahma bhuyaya kalpate. When we take to pure devotional service and never fall down in any circumstance, we transcend the influence of the modes of material nature. Such an important thing. So Krishna is equal to everyone. Prabhupada says later in the purport, the conditioned soul is under the influence of the various modes of material nature. And behind material nature is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. But one's victory and loss under the influence of Sattvagun, Rajogun, and Tamagun are reactions of these modes, not of the Supreme Lord's partiality. We're still being tossed. How is that? How does it happen? In the 14th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, I believe, it stated, Purusho prakritisto hi Purusha prakriti tistohi bhunkte prakriti jan gunan karanam guna sangasya sadasad yoni janmasu.
Chapter
How
13,
do we
Prabhu.
get, pardon?
Chapter 13, Prabhu.
Chapter 13, thank you. I become a little feeble in my old age, my memory.
I just read it yesterday by your grace, by your mercy, Prabhu.
Very important verse, actually. We should study, we should meditate on those verses. Purusho prakriti stohi means Purush means the soul. That means you, me, the soul, the Atma, our ultimate self. Prakriti stohi. We're situated within material nature. Material nature means these three modes: Satogun, Rajogun, Tamogun. This is what material nature is, how it works. Everything can be categorized in one of these modes. Like there's birds. There's sattvic birds like swans and doves and hummingbirds, beautiful sattvic birds. And there's tamasic birds like crows and rajasic birds like hawks. They kill people, kill animals and tear their body. And everything's, Krishna goes through a whole list. Food's in the mode of goodness, charity in the mode of goodness, sacrifice in the mode of goodness, austerity in the mode of, all in the modes of nature. Everything is under this influence of modes of material nature. Everything has its characteristic, its quality. So falling in Prakriti Stohi, we've come to this world of Prakriti, composed of the modes of material nature and the material elements. Bhumirapanulo vayukam mano buddhirevacha ahankara itiyami binda Prakriti rashtra. This is Sankhya philosophy. Different elements that create which makes the world a world. How is it working? What is it? We should understand this. This is jnana, Sankhya. This is very helpful in our progress in spiritual life. Just like if you want to eat a mango, what do? You take a knife, you peel the mango, you cut the mango in pieces, you offer to the Lord, you eat, take prasadam. You don't eat the knife. You use the knife as a help to eat the mango. After the mango is cut up, you put the knife away. So in the same way, in bhakti, we don't want just to know Krishna and understand the material elements, the buddhi, mana, hankar, subtle elements, the atma, prakriti, purush, indriya, gyanendriyas, karmendriyas, all the constituents of what makes this world a world. That is helpful. But the Brajbasis aren't concerned with that. They simply love Krishna. So we can, by bhakti, we put the knife of jnana away. Bahunam janmanam ante jnanavam mam prapadyate, Krishna says. By many births and deaths, a fortunate person comes to know Vasudeva Sarvam Iti. Samahatma Sudurlama. He's a great soul. So Purusha Prakriti Stohi Bhunkte Prakriti Jan Gunan. And by the influence of the modes of material nature, everybody wants to enjoy in a particular way. The tiger wants to eat meat. The low-class Chandala will eat a dog. They take a dog in the Philippines. They tie a can over its head, over its mouth, so it can't bite. They tie it on tight. Then they tie it onto a stick. They slaughter the dog and they roast the whole dog over the fire. They're swapacha. They're dog eaters. They cook and eat dogs. This is most tamasic thing. Pig eaters. Most tamasic, they call, oh, it is a BLT, a bacon, lettuce, and tomato sandwich. This is tamasic, most disgusting thing. The rear end of a pig, you think that's food? It's food for the most tamasic person. Rajasic person has like spicy food, salty food, causes burning sensation in the stomach. And sattvic food, sugar, ghee, fruits, butter, yogurt, wheat, rice, all sattvic foods that increase the duration of life, that are strengthening, satisfying to the heart, increase the duration of life. Even food, everything is under the influence of material nature. And by that association, Purusha Prakriti, Bhunkte Prakriti Jan Gunan, by association of that nature, Karanam Guna Sangasya, Sadasad, Joni Janmasu. We get a corresponding birth. If you want to eat, like you see human beings, we used to travel and we were forced to go into some of these places to try and sell paintings and collect money. In Denver, Colorado, 2 years in a row, We sent $300,000 cash to Prabhupada's BBT selling oil paintings. So I go into some of these places, Texas Steakhouse. So they're, how do you like your steak? Rare, like bloody rare. If you like to eat bloody rare meat, you can be a tiger and you can eat that for your food your whole life. Is that what you like? Then be a tiger, be a wolf, be a dog. Bhungte karanam guna sangha sad asad joni. Sad joni means human being, demigod, thoughtful person, educated person, philosopher, devotee, Vaishnava. This is sad yoni. We're born in the family of devotees. Asad yoni means a dog, a rat, a crow, a pig. How do they get that body? By association with the modes of nature. So we have to transcend that relationship with the modes of material nature. Bhagavatam says, Yaya samohito jiva atmanam trigunatmakam parope manyate nartam tatkritam chavipadyate. Due to this external energy, this is Srimad Bhagavatam, first canto, chapter 7, text 5. Due to this external energy, the living entity, although transcendental to the three modes of material nature, thinks himself a material product and thus undergoes the reaction of material miseries. This is our whole problem in a nutshell. We think that I am a material product. I am a body. I will be happy by satisfying my body, senses, and mind. And life after life, we do the same damn thing and we get the same reaction. Krishna said, this is not easy thing. Daiviyesha gunamai mama maya duratyaya mamivite mayamitam tarantite. That this energy of mind is duratyaya, very difficult to overcome. But mamivaye prapadyante, someone who surrenders to me, mayamitam tarantite, very easily crosses over the influence of the modes of material nature. So what does bhakti mean? What does our sadhana mean? It's an endeavor to overcome the influence of the modes of material, the heavy, insurmountable energy of the Lord's own energy. Mama Maya, he says, it's my Maya. Duratyaya, so difficult. But by his mercy, although it's difficult, by his mercy, it becomes very easy. By this process of sadhana bhakti, by surrendering, by developing loving relationship with Krishna. Now there's one important verse. We're running out of time, but to conclude, there's one important verse that I remember from the 7th canto, Srimad Bhagvatam, as I remember. Rajastamascha vibhuya sattam bhavati bharata. Rajas sattam tamaschaiva tamasa sattam rajastata. Oh no, this is from Bhagavad Gita. That's not what I wanted to talk about. No, 7th canto, 15th chapter, verse 25. Very interesting verse. Rajastamascha sattvena sattam chopapasena samena cha etat sarvam goro bhaktya purusho yanjasa jayet. One must conquer the modes of passion and ignorance by developing the mode of goodness. And then one must become detached from the mode of goodness by promoting oneself to the platform of Shuddha Sattva. All this can be automatically done if one engages in the service of the spiritual master with faith and devotion. In this way, one can conquer the influence of the modes of material nature. Do we want to conquer the influence of material nature? Yes. Here's the formula. How to conquer modes of passion and ignorance? Come to the mode of goodness. How to conquer mode of goodness? What is mode of goodness? I'm so happy. I eat vegetarian food. I'm a vegan. I walk in the woods. I write poetry. I sing music. I'm a good guy. I'm compassionate. This is mode of goodness. Will it get you back to Godhead? No. Not in a million years get you back to Godhead. We have to transcend the influence of the modes of material nature. Mode of goodness is within the modes of material nature, material life. We have to come to Shuddha Sattva, where everything, yat karoshi yadashtasi yajtahosi dadasi yat tapasyasi kontaya makuruswa madarpanam. Everything is for Krishna. All that you do, all that you eat, all that you give away, all austerity you perform, everything, madarpanam, we offer to Krishna. And what is there? We become free. Next verse says, Shubha Shubha Palariva Moksha Se Karma Bandhanai Sannyasa Yoga Yuktatma Vimukto Mam Upayashasi. When we live in this way, in Shuddha Sattva, making Krishna the objective of all our activities, the enjoyer of all our activities, then Shubha, Ashub, Shub, Ashub, piety, impiety, positive and negative are meaningless. We're not bound. Moksha se karma bandhanai. We become free from the influence of modes of material nature. Jagartat kamanonyata lokayam karma kanteya. Tadartam karma konteya mukta sangha samachar. Tadartam. When we live and work and do everything as an offering to Krishna, no more karma. Because even the person who is engaged in philanthropy, in altruism, helping his fellow man, feeding the poor, distributing blankets, netra yagya, he will have to come back to this material world. In this way, good karma is actually bad karma, because he'll have to come back and endure birth, death, old age, and disease, and all the concomitant miseries of material life. So good karma is bad karma. We have to come to Shuddha Sattva, where everything is for Krishna, where he is the enjoyer. And this is yoga. Sannyasa yoga yuktatma vimukto mang upayashasi. Krishna said, vimukto, you're liberated, and mam upayashasi, you come back to me. What more we want from our devotional life? This is our objective. Tyaktva deham punarjama naiti mamieti sarjana, to leave this world and go back to Krishna. What more we want? What other fruit do we expect to achieve in our process of bhakti than this thing, to go back to Godhead? So this is the formula. Transcend the modes of passion and ignorance, come to goodness. But goodness is not good enough. One must become detached from the mode of goodness by promoting oneself to the platform of Shuddha Sattva. This means bhakti. Mam chayo bibicharane bhakti yogena sagunan samatityaitan. Brahma bhuya, to come to the spiritual platform. What is the Atma? What is the Atma's relationship with Paramatma? This is bhakti. All this can automatically be done if one engages in the service of the spiritual master with faith and devotion. This is so important. We don't have a relationship with Krishna directly. This is the secret of Vaishnavism, open secret. The whole world, in the masjid, the mandir, the gurudwara, the temple, the synagogue, they all go to the temple, and they pray to God with full and, oh dear God. Are they qualified to approach? Are we qualified to approach God? We're not qualified. We approach God's devotee. We get Krishna's mercy by approaching Krishna's devotee. Krishna say Tomar, Krishna dite par. Tomara shakati yachi ameto kanga, Krishna, Krishna bole daitava pache pache. That Krishna is yours. Krishna is the property of the pure devotee. And Tomara Shakatiyachi, because he has that intense, personal, loving relationship, he has the power, the Shakti, to give him to me. So what am I? I'm Kangal, I'm a beggar, I'm a fallen soul, Pamara, Dushkriti, Dusht. What am I doing? I'm simply running after you, chanting, begging, Krishna, Krishna, Krishna. This is the process of getting Krishna, to serve the spiritual master. This is the process of transcending the influence of the modes of material nature, to accept the instructions of the spiritual master, to follow them, and do some service. Tadvidhi pranipatina pariprashnena sevaya upadekshanti te jnanam jnanina tattva darshina. This is Krishna's formula to achieve, for the conditioned soul to leave conditioned life and get Krishna. It's Krishna's formula. Approach my devotee. Do service. If you want to know me, tadvidhi, then first thing, pranipat, prakrishna rupena nipat. That surrender, rascal. Completely surrender. Fall down. Do dandavat. Give up pride. Give up ego. Give up envy. Give up thinking that you know everything. Give up your self-interest. Do panipat. Fall down. Do seva. Serve your spiritual master, because he gives the most valuable thing. You can't walk into the grocery store and just start loading up your cart and walk out the door. They'll arrest you. They'll put you in jail because you have to pay the price. What we get from Sri Guru is not free. We need to do seva because Guru is a person. He's not devoid of desires. He's not a zero, a void, a light, and nothing. He's a person, and he's full of desires to serve Krishna and his Guru. So if we offer our service to Guru, this is the price. We can hope to repay a few grains of the priceless knowledge and mercy we get from Sri Guru by doing seva. And we should do pariprashna. Pariprashna means to ask relevant questions, to be hungry for knowledge. If you're not hungry for knowledge, you don't need a guru. It's not an ornament in your life. I have a house, I have a car, I have a wife, I have a dog, I have a guru. If you're not hungry for knowledge, you don't need a guru. And if you're hungry for knowledge, you inquire. Pariprashna. What does that mean for us in ISKCON? It means read Prabhupada's books. Don't let a day go by that you don't read something from Prabhupada's books. Because when you open Prabhupada's book and read his purport, you're as good as sitting in the same room with Srila Prabhupada and hearing directly from his mouth. We sing every day, Guru Mukha Padma Vakya Chitete Koriya Aikya, Arna Koriya Mane Hasha. That let my desires not go beyond the desire to hear the words emanating from the lotus mouth of Srila Prabhupada. So don't let a day go by without reading something, even one page. Read something, because this is the way, pariprashna, where we inquire, where we become hungry, thirsty for knowledge. If that's not there, you don't need a guru. He's not an ornament in your life. You're his servant. And what does he want from you? To read, to learn, to be hungry for knowledge, to be hungry ultimately for Krishna. So this is the way to transcend the modes of material nature and come to the spiritual platform. This is the way to endear ourselves to Krishna, where Krishna can never be impartial. He can never be impartial for his devotee. He loves his devotee, and devotee loves Krishna. And this is the beauty, the inconceivable beauty of bhakti, the simplicity of bhakti. God is there, we are here. We become separated somehow or other. We're separated. Let us reestablish our relationship. How? Shravanadi Shuddha Chitte Koriya Udvai. Hearing about Krishna, serving Krishna, associating with devotees, serving Vaishnavas, doing all the things we do. Our future is very, very bright if we just do these things and continue to study all these wonderful books that Srila Prabhupada has given us. Panchakalpatubhischa kripa sindhubhye vichapatitanam pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Anyone has any comment, question, correction?
Prabhuji, Dandat Pranam, all goes to Prabhupada.
Jai Srila Prabhupada.
Such a nice class. He touched upon the very fundamental things about how we transcend the mode of we need to transcend the three modes of material nature to be ready to be Brahmabhuta platform and then attain love for Godhead and then go back to Krishna. And you rightly pointed out that this process is arduous and also needs the mercy of the Guru, and without his mercy, without service to him, it is not possible. It is we quoted so many verses to establish it. It was so nice and mesmerizing to hear from you again and again. Your nectarine words are so nice and satisfying.
Yeah, blah, blah, blah. Jai Srila Prabhupada.
And Prabhu, I have one small comment. This, yeah, I mean, there's some, yeah, it's going back to Krishna is not easy, but there is something like a, there is a feeling amongst the devotees that if we do the four regulatory principles and chant 16 round, whatever level of depth, we'll be going back. So is that true, or
it's not a mechanical process. That's an important point you brought up. When someone leaves her body, everyone says, oh, he went back to Godhead. Maybe, maybe not. We're not salvationists. Like in some other religions, they say, do like this, accept like this, declare your love for God or Jesus or something. Then you're good. Everything's good. Doesn't matter what you do after that. It's not like that. Our life is in the hands of the Lord, and He may take us or He may not take us. We're not salvationists, that you must take me. Prabhupada showed that in his own by his personal example. And the last day he wasn't big, oh, please, Krishna, take me back, take me back. His hands were folded. I'm your servant, dasosmi. Do with me as you like. Mama janmani janmanishware chaitanya mahaprabhu tadastape. Right? Mama janmani janmanish bhavatat bhaktir ahaituki twai. I don't want liberation. I want your ahaituki bhakti. Bhaktivinoda Thakur prayed, ki de janma hao yatha tuadas. Bahirmukha janme nahi more ash. That I'm happy to be born as an insect, as your devotee, but I don't want to be born a Brahma, non-devotee. We're not salvationists. We don't want anything from Krishna except his happiness, except his pleasure, except his service.
Yeah.
So we may go back, we may not go back. Mama Janmani Janmanishwari, this is our consciousness. As someone who really feels like that, he's very qualified to go back to Godhead.
Yeah, there is this feeling, I believe. I mean, since Prabhupada said in some context that I have the back door to Golok, I have the key to the back door to the Golok. So, but Prabhupada quotes are many times contextual. So maybe he wrote to a particular devotee to his or her query, or particular audience in a one-on-one conversation. So many of these things get distorted and then get quoted out of context. So that is the I think
there's no mathematical formula, Prabhu. I did A and C and B, A, B, C, D. Now I must get E. It's not like that. It's Krishna's will. There's a story. One devotee, his name, what was his name? Kartikeya. His mother hated the devotees. She hated, oh, my son became a Hare Krishna. But her last words were, where is your Krishna now? The last words she spoke, where is your Krishna now? When Prabhupada heard that, he said, oh, she's gone back to Godhead. Her whole life was antagonistic towards devotees and spiritual life and Hare Krishna. But she said, where is your Krishna now? So one may go, one may not. It's up to the Lord. We don't make a demand in life. We don't make a demand in death. You can take me, you cannot take me. Deliver me or don't deliver me. I'm your servant. Mama janmani janmanishware.
So the mother said, where is your Krishna now?
Yeah, his mother, Kartikeya Prabhu's mother, her last words before she left her body were, where is your Krishna now?
Oh, Haribo.
Prabhupada said she went back to Godhead. So he can take anyone.
Yeah.
One time I was having a discussion with one, his name's, what's his name? I'm forgetting his name. He's in charge of the ISKCON studies at Oxford University in England. Anyway, he came to, we did a wedding together of a common friend, was getting married. So we're having this discussion over breakfast, and he looked at me with it. No, not Radhikaram. No, it starts with an S. I can't remember his name. Saurabh, no, what is it? Old age again. Anyway, we're having a discussion over breakfast, and with a twinkle in his eye, he asked me, he said, can a Christian go back to Godhead? And I started saying, no, of course he can't. Wait a minute. If Krishna wants to take him back, who is to stop him? Krishna will take whoever he wants back to Godhead. So we should be careful to say someone went back to Godhead when they might not have, and we should be careful not to say he can't go back to Godhead. So everything is up to Krishna. It's his own sweet will who goes back to Godhead. And we should feel the same way. It's your will, not my will. This is bhakti. Mama janmani janmanishware.
Yeah. Yeah, the gunas, but Krishna says in the chapter, even Bhaktatu ananya sakya aham evam vidorjuna gyatum drashtum I mean,
Katrina pravesham cha parantapa.
Nirvaira Sarvabhutesi. So all these qualities, and even chapter 12 also, Krishna speaks. Without the qualities getting developed, so and the qualities are also perceivable from outside to a great extent.
So many non-devotees have some of those qualities also. Will they go back to Godhead?
Yeah,
Prabhu, all this actually discussion is irrelevant if we accept this one thing. Everything is up to the will of the Lord. He can take you or not take you.
Yeah.
We don't make a demand. We should want to go back. That doesn't mean we shouldn't want to go back to God, and we should. But how will we go? Only by the sweet will of the Lord. No, it's otherwise impossible. You can't. You need a visa to go back to Godhead. Actually, Prabhupada said one time that visa, who issues a visa? Tulsi Maharani, Vrinda Devi. So there's many things to consider. It's not such a cut and dried, simple thing. Ultimately, will of the Lord. We want to serve. Prabhupada gave another example. He said there's some Bengali saying about denki. Denki means a rice threshing machine. And the saying means that if you send a rice threshing machine to heaven, what will it do? It will thresh rice. It threshes rice here. It will thresh rice there. What is it? So the same way, we serve here and we serve there. We're servants of Krishna. You take me back to Godhead, or you keep me here serving you. I'm your servant. You do with me whatever you like. Send me to hell if you like. Kita janmaho, let me be born as an insect. But bahirmukha brahma janme nahi more ash. I don't want to be born as a Brahma, forgetful of you. We don't make demands on Krishna. This is pure devotional service. That's okay.
Yes. Thank you for such a nice deliberation.
Thank you for a nice question, Partha.
No, yes, you are merciful.
Any other question, comment? Okay, thank you all devotees for the opportunity.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. My Dhanat Pranam to you. Shri Prabhupada ki jai, Guru Maharaj ki jai. Just really adored the class. Very nice. And
if you're happy, I'm happy.
Yeah, you're doing such, my Dhanat Pranam to you, because you're serving us. Although you said something in the beginning that it's a morning, but it's your evening. But still, you are so conscious and caring in a way that, you're giving us seva here, and we are hearing in the morning. And so Prabhuji,
no, Mataji, Mataji, you're giving me seva. Otherwise, I'd be wasting time. But now I have to speak something about Bhagavatam, so you're very kind to me.
No, Prabhuji. Kind to all the everyday chant devotees, yeah. Prabhuji, sometimes in our life, there's this, everything we do for Krishna, right? But sometimes what happens that, there are certain things we have to take care of, whether it's here or in India. We have to make sure that once our ancestors, our parents are there, they're getting older. So we have to make sure that, the property and, comes to us. We have to safeguard all our grandfathers have left for us. And so in that case, how do we understand when we are doing all these things, there are so many things we do and we think we are doing for ourselves, because, we have to make sure that, whatever heritage we have comes to us through the form of will and, parents and this and that. Parents sometimes are devotees, sometimes are not. So sometimes we think that, yes, we are doing this because, my children will need support and money and all, I'm not working. And sometimes we think that, yes, this is Krishna's arrangement, that, he put me here and this happened and this person did this. So it's a dilemma of the mind sometimes, but how do we understand that everything is coming from Krishna, and how we can keep that consciousness also? Because then we start thinking, this is my property, this is my money, that comes in very strong. So is Krishna intervening in a devotee's life all the time, where because although the first decision our mind makes, okay, I have to do this, I have to talk to so and so person, I have to tell that person I need this, so I just wanted to have a little clear picture of this. And sometimes what we plan in the material life, like, we want to influence someone or something, that comes true, but sometimes we are not able to, like
Mataji,
in the
Krishna
sense.
is always giving you, he's always testing us. He's always putting things in front of you. What will you do? If you get the opportunity to get money, no problem. But what will you do with the money? Will you buy a Mercedes for you to uh, pat yourself on the back and for your prestige and honor and pratishtha in society, or you spend money for something useful, like building a temple, distributing books. I mean, there's hundreds of different, building TOVP, or there's a nice program here in Mayapur where they're refurbishing and rebuilding holy tirthas. We just built a new stage at Shantipur at the Advaita Bhavan. There's so many nice projects where money can be practically used. We want money because we know what to do with it. And wealth in life means, what have I given? Not what have I taken? How much is in my bank account? That's not our wealth. Our wealth is, what have I spent for Krishna? So we should make every endeavor to be as because Grihastha Ashram means we deal with money. We want money because we know what to do with it. But at the end of life, what can you take with you? What is our future? Think about this. What is your future? What is my future? If I'm fortunate, they're going to build a big stack of wood on the bank of Ganga. They're going to put this dead body on it, and they're going to burn it to ashes. This is my future. What is the relevance of my bank account and my property if that is my future? While I'm here and I'm able and I have the ability, I should spend money in the service of the Lord. And I do. A lot, actually. This is our benefit, what we've spent for Krishna, not what we've taken. So we should think over these things carefully. So if there's some property, this whole Mayapur project, how is it coming up? Only by the generosity of well-to-do, generous household devotees. Sannyasis aren't building it. Brahmacharis aren't building it. They're maintaining it. They're preaching about it. Everyone plays their role. But the whole economic welfare of the society rests on the shoulders of the Grihastha ashram. So just think this over. What is our wealth? Is wealth in pieces of pretty colored paper? Is it digits in some institution, some bank? Is it our property that will be there after you die? What is wealth? Wealth is what we spend for Krishna. Think it over again and again. And I'm not saying to be, Prabhupada would say, live comfortable life. Have a comfortable life. But there's a big difference. Like, for example, I worked in the jewelry industry for 20 years. I was a watchmaker, goldsmith, gemologist, like that. So people would come in and they have a $50,000, 18 karat gold Rolex watch with a diamond bezel. What does it do? What does this $50,000 watch do? Sometimes $75,000. You can spend $350,000 for a handmade platinum watch. What does it do? It tells you what time it is. You can go to Kmart and buy one for $20 and it does the same thing. So have a comfortable life. But extravagant life is a waste of our human energy when there's such a great need for welfare, for establishing Krishna consciousness throughout the world. This is the mentality of our sampradaya. Sri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapitam Jaina Bhutale, for establishing the Manobishtam, the internal desire of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to see Krishna consciousness spread all over the world. And for that, money is required. So we want money. But our wealth is what we spend for Krishna. And if you think in this perspective, then it answers many questions about what we should do and how we should manage the opportunities that come to us in life. Does that make sense?
Yes, Prabhuji. And Prabhuji, one more question. There's always one, because mothers are generally giving birth to a child, right? So one always faces, this insecurity in spite of following Krishna consciousness, that, what if, something happens to me, and right now I'm doing certain services, and I'm like, I know that for my child, I'm the sole person taking care. And then of course, I'm packing prasadam for my husband, I'm doing this, I'm doing that. And what if suddenly something happens and I just pass away, and so that insecurity comes in the mind. And when these thoughts are coming, it's probably because, like you said, read Prabhupada's books, and which I've not been doing very regularly. And I'm so happy that we reached the seventh canto on this conference call, but still, I'm not hearing very properly, not reading very properly. So, all the time my mind is not really engaged in thinking of, you utilizing, like, I was hearing that we should not even waste a second in a day. But being in a mother's body, like, it's a little bit, these thoughts come in somehow or the other, they creep in, and they create these insecurities in us. So how do we tackle them?
Mataji, you have it's called Karyam Karma. You study this first verse in 6th chapter of Bhagavad Gita. Sannyasmin zanashritya karma phalam karyam karma karotija. That you don't take shelter of the fruits of your labor, but you perform your activities as you're obliged. A mother's activities, this is your dharma. Prabhupada told one of my goddesses, Arundhati, he said, your child worship is more important than deity worship. Mother's irreplaceable contribution to society is to care and love children, to care for them, to love them, to train them, to help them be Krishna conscious, to their productive members of society. Without that, kids become, I mean, some parents, I'm not criticizing any individual, but an Xbox or a mobile phone is not a replacement for mother's love. Spend time with your kids. Don't park them in front of the Xbox or park them in front of the television or the mobile phone and think you're raising your kid. It'll rot their brain. And then you'll wonder, you'll cry someday when they grow up to be materialistic people and want to eat meat, excuse me, and drink and carry on and have no feeling for Krishna bhakti. This is, Bhagavatam says, if you can't deliver your dependence, don't become a mother, don't become a father, don't become a guru, don't become a worshipable demigod if you can't deliver your dependence. If you don't want to take care of your children and love them and train them and give them guidance, get a puppy. Don't have kids, get a puppy. If you're going to have kids, be responsible. And this is dharma. This is Swanushtitasya Dharmasya Sansetir Haritoshanam. Swanushtitasya Dharma means the dharma that comes along with your birth. You're born in a female body, you created children. Your dharma means to love them, take care of them. It's not wrong. It's what you do to be Krishna conscious. I was sitting, speaking of Radhika Raman Prabhu, I was sitting with him one time. They have two amazing young sons. This was many years ago. At the time, the kids were probably 6, 7 years old, saintly little boys. So his wife was complaining, I forgot her name, but she was complaining, before I was married, I used to do so much service. I used to cook for the deities. I used to go on Harinam. I used to go on book distribution. I used to do deity worship, dress the deities. But now I don't do any service. I said, Mataji, these two boys are your service. They're the most important service, the most important contribution you're going to make in your whole life. That's more than thousands of artis and thousands of cooked offerings. Love your kids, raise them in Krishna consciousness, and offer them to the Lord. And by doing that, you'll go back to Godhead. Is it different? Is offering arati different from packing your kids' lunch or wiping their nose when they're sick, taking them to a football practice? Be a responsible parent. If you can't be a responsible parent and love your kids and care for them and love them, get a puppy. And that may seem harsh, but that's my feeling. And I think that has its basis in Shastra.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Prabhuji, for the answer. So, Prabhuji, sometimes we get children who are perfectly fine, normal, brain-wise. There's no challenge. But sometimes, Krishna, like we get children, of course, from our own karma, that there are children who have some special needs. They are not able to do math. They are not able to function like normally, like other human beings. So, and they're quite dependent, um, uh, if we meet a psychiatrist, the psychiatrist will say that, I hope you have other siblings, I hope there is someone else to take care. I always advise parents with children with special needs to have more than one sibling, because then, after the parents, as per age, they will, so, what message do you have for parents with special need? I remember in your class sometime back you were mentioning about one devotee family where they had a special need child.
Extreme special needs. He has what's it called, Tanush? Autism. He's extremely autism. He's 20 years old. He can't use the bathroom by himself. He can't talk. He runs around just making noises and won't look at you. He can't. I mean, he's in another world, and it's created extreme grief for this family. Their daughter is a doctor. She's an MD working in New York City. A brilliant student, brilliant young doctor. This is karma. When an enemy from your past life takes birth in your family to cause you grief, and you're stuck with it for life. And this family has suffered for the last 20 years, like indescribable ways. This is karma. Tatenu kampam susamiksham bunjana evatna kritam vipakam evatna kritam. You've created it. You have to tolerate. What are you going to do? Just, put your kid on the front porch of the fire station and say goodbye? It's you created the karma, so your responsibility is to take care of the kid the best you can in any circumstance. And this is an extreme example of that. These two parents are so extraordinary parents in the face of inconceivable challenge. I mean, if you can't imagine having a 20-year strapling, strong young man in your home that can't talk or use the bathroom, but he's running around creating havoc in your home. Inconceivable suffering. But they tolerate. What is the alternative? You're going to drown your kid? You're going to drop him off at the fire station? What are you going to do? This is dharma. And we accept the challenges of life because why? Because we created it. Evatma kritam. We created it. So we tolerate bunjana evatma kritam. We tolerate and hope for a better day. And that in this way we become qualified for bhakti. Not blaming God. Why have you done this to me? No, you did it. You created this situation. Now deal with it. This is the naked truth, the hard truth of life that we should understand as devotees, and we should preach also. No sentimentality.
Thank you so much, Prabhuji, Prabhuji, it's more than okay. Thank you so much for, this is like a question, for mothers with the children with special need. And it's amazing. I would love to connect with more families with children with special need too, because that gives us a lot of hope. And, I remember that there was one show.
I'll put you in touch if you want to speak to this family. I'll put you in touch. They're very nice devotees. They live in Charlotte, North Carolina.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Send me a text. Shama Rasika Mataji has my number. Shama Rasika Mataji has my number. You can get it from her. And you're both.
Prabhuji, I have your
thanks
number.
to both of you.
Oh,
okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And, you said like about the DT Seva, like, even take care of children is also like DT Seva only, just one point I've just forgot I wanted to mention. But it's like sometimes it gets overwhelming, when the children are not up to the mark or there are some problems like that. But we have to still continue and, pass our life, because God knows in which life, which time, there's also one more thing, like sometimes what happens is when a child like this comes to the family, and like you said, that family in New York, the daughter is a doctor, and the child is quite, like this thing, autism is there. So is it kind of like a collective karma kind of a situation where this child had to come to the family, and, although the mother has given birth to the child, and because of some medical situation or maybe during childbirth, whatever came up, and then the disability came up, mental disability. But the point is that the husband and the child also suffer because of that. So is there some collective karma involved here like that?
Yeah, everyone suffers. The husband suffers, the mother suffers, the sister suffers, whole family suffers. This is, material life is a disaster, Mataji. Like you say, there's no guarantee that you'll see the next sunrise for anybody. For anybody, this is the nature of this world. We forget. We think we're going to stay here, merrily, merrily, merrily. Life is but a dream. Row, row, row your boat gently down this stream. Merrily, merrily, merrily. Life is not merry. It's a serious place. We have to die.